Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about your watercolor candy wrapper still life. So if you could please go to your Google Classroom page, and you can find it under Stream. If you scroll down, it should be the last thing that was posted, or another way you can find it is under Classwork, and it is underneath the watercolor unit for March 18th. So if you click on this assignment, you're going to find in the post what your task is to do, which is to create a realistic 9x12 still life painting of a candy wrapper or other food related wrapper. So if you ate your candy already and you threw it out, make sure grab something food related, but preferably like a wrapper, like a bag of chips or something like that. Okay. I want to talk about the assignment requirements. So I'm going to scroll down here, and if you could open up the candy wrapper rubric, we're going to talk about that today. And I'm just going to enlarge this so that you can see it a little bit better. Okay. There we go. All right. So in here, right, I hope that you guys are reading your project rubrics, because it does explain what you need to do for the assignment, and it also gives you some examples of finished work. So down here underneath objective, right, it says create a realistic 9x12 still life painting of a candy wrapper or other food related wrapper. Use your knowledge of contour drawing to lightly draw your candy wrapper with pencil onto the watercolor paper. Now you're going to have a sheet of 9x12 paper like so. Okay, and I've already drawn mine out. I've done the first two steps, which are hands, and we did our hands in like a triangular format, right? We're going to go back to that for drawing this. So if you do a little bit of sketching, that's fine too, but you should really slow down and take a look at all of the line work and edges that make up that object. Okay, so practice using your contour drawing. Then use your knowledge of color theory to mix paint and to allow you to paint your still life. Be sure to look at your subject or candy wrapper, include highlights, shadows, changes in color, and then watercolor paints. You can easily mix them in the tray if you need to create other types of colors. Wash the tray with a wet paper towel. And when I say wash the tray, I'm talking about the lid of the watercolor palette, because as you mix your colors on the top, which I'm going to show you, right, it gets kind of yucky, this area here. And if you just take a wet paper towel, don't run it underneath the sink, but just take a wet paper towel and wipe these clean. It takes like 2 seconds. Okay. So also, stay away from using black paint. And I know that we've used black in the past to create shadows, but I'm going to show you guys a more natural way to use color to create shadows. You can use black if your candy wrapper has black in it. For example, those of you that got Pop Rocks in your bag, you can use black to create the wrapper for that one. But all the other ones, you're going to find that you're not going to see any black in them. So if you don't have Pop Rocks, stay away from black. Instead of using neutral colors like browns, mix your complementary colors together. Remember I told you that mixing the different complementary colors together will create different types of browns. Also too, neutrals work best for creating your shadows, and we'll talk about that in the next video when we get to painting. Okay, using like grays and that kind of thing to create your shadows. Okay, underneath assignment requirements, I'm going to highlight this right down in here. Make sure that you are filling 50 to 75% of the page with your subject. Don't create this tiny little drawing, in the middle or the corner, and expect full credit for it. I'm looking for you to enlarge these. Okay, you're going to make them bigger than life size. Okay, arrange your objects in an interesting composition. Don't just put things in the middle. Bend, fold, crinkle, lay the thing sideways. Maybe you can crop it, have it hanging off the edge. That makes it look really interesting. You can include the candy in your drawing too, like in the example that's over here on the left-hand side. That makes things also interesting, or you can just leave the candy wrapper unwrapped, and that kind of tells a story too. So think about how you're telling a story with the still life. I know it's, just candy wrappers, but there's a lot of interesting things that you can do with the arrangement of it. I want to see that your colors are mixed accurately to create a realistic depiction of your candy wrapper. And don't forget, I'm going to show you guys some tips on how to do that. I want to see casted shadows and highlights too. So if you look at the examples that are here to the left, right, these look so realistic because they included those casted shadows. There's shadows in the wrapper where there's folds. There's also these really nice highlights. Candy wrappers, they tend to like to grasp light. So like as I move this around, right, you can see different reflections of light off of it. Include those reflections of light, those highlights. Okay, use neutral colors to make shadow areas, grays, browns, anything but black. Okay, I'm looking for nice craftsmanship, that it's painted in neatly. Composition, you arrange it in an interesting way and it's filling 50 to 75% of the page. Effort. I can't see you guys at home, but I do expect that you put forth a great deal of effort. Remember, if you're struggling, I'm going to set up office hours so that you guys can Zoom me and ask questions individually if you need some help. So there's no excuses as far as the effort goes, guys. Contact me if you need help. Put in the time. This is going to take you a great deal of time. These are due next Tuesday, so don't just wait to start this. Okay, maybe put 20 minutes in today, put 20 minutes in tomorrow, and keep on working on it. Okay, and then last but not least, your artist statements. Now, what I like you guys to do for your artist statements is to say 5 things about your artwork. And instead of writing them out this time, I'm going to have you guys make a Flipgrid video artist statement. So you're going to hold up your final candy wrapper and excuse me. And then you're going to do your artist statement live. Okay. Back to Google Classroom. I just wanted to show you guys a couple other things. The step for the candy wrappers is right here. This is kind of a guide to help you with organizing your artwork. So for example, also to the materials that you're going to need for each step. So the first step is to place it. I'm going to show you guys that today and start to lightly sketch that out. If you just break this down and just do this today, that's great. That will set you up for over the next couple of days how to do step 4 through 6. Okay. So I'm going to go back to here and also show you guys some examples. So I just have 2 that are on the rubric, but if you click on the link underneath Google Classroom, the watercolor candy wrapper, you could see some other examples of what other artists have done in the past. Okay, which might help you with the first part, which is arranging your artwork in an interesting layout.